everybody okay in the back? All right, we get situated. Coach, you want to open it up with the opening comment?
Yeah, great to be back on the podium. Great to see everybody. Thank you guys for coming out. As we traditionally do in the spring, kind of identify some of the things going on campus. Congratulations to Pat Henry and the men's indoor track team for winning the SEC title. Big shout out to Trish Ford for her 500th win last weekend and what she's doing over there with the softball program. And obviously good luck to Buzz and the men's basketball team tomorrow night in Denver. I know that's where most of the media is today, and certainly don't blame them. We're excited. We're excited to get back out on the field, get back into spring ball, start year 2 of this journey, and kind of pick up on some of the good things we were able to do last year and some of the things we were able to do to move the program forward, and then fix and clean up some of the things that maybe cost us ultimately getting where we wanted to go in the end. And so we've had a great 8-week session through the winter of strength and conditioning and building through our agility workouts and competitive agilities. And now we kind of transition into the next phase of this offseason, which is a 5-week period of spring ball. And so we're excited. The guys are excited. I think our program's in a really good spot and really looking forward to this. And so a couple injury notes, and then I know it's been a while, so we'll kind of open it up to questions and let you guys go today. But guys that'll be out for spring because of injuries sustained during the season. So defensively, Tyreek Chappelle, Javon Thomas, and Scooby Williams are still kind of recovering. All those guys will be fine by summer, fine for season, just won't be available this spring. Same thing on offense, Amari Daniels, Armaje Reed Adams, and Le'Veon Moss, and then 2 freshmen who are kind of battling back from some surgical things, Jamar Beal-Goins and Josh Moses. And so other than that, we got a healthy group, excited and ready to go. And so from there, we'll open up to questions.
Down front, Travis, and then to the left.
Hey, Mike, yeah, a lot of talk about the future of spring games and spring practice. Do you have any thoughts on where you think this are going or where you'd like to see it's going with A&M perspective?
Yeah, all right, let's get into year 2. We know each other now a little bit, right? So I think that I would always challenge people to read into what people are saying and try to figure out whether it's actually makes sense. I think there's 2 different elements of this. There's some teams who played real long seasons, and I think there's a reality to having to redefine what your next offseason looks like with the extended playoff and how many games some teams are playing. I think that's real. This thought of people recruiting off your roster or some of those things, I'm not buying some of that stuff, and so we'll continue to have a spring game until we make it to the semifinals, and then we'll rediscover kind of what our offseason looks like.
And then any update on Micah Hudson's status with the team?
He's not with the team.
Second row on the left, Rob.
Howdy, Coach.
Howdy.
Could you do me a favor and just, like you do for signing day, and you talk a little bit about each one of the players. Can you talk about each one of the guys that you picked up from the portal and what your staff saw about them?
Oh, gosh. No.
I have a list.
You have a list?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you want to give me a list? This will be good. That way I don't miss anybody. All right. That's a well put together list.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, good. So let's start on. Obviously, we had a need on the defensive line. Losing the guys that we lost, we felt like we had to go out and we had to get some older, experienced guys. I think we were able to do that. TJ Searcy was a kid who had played an awful lot of football at Florida. Great length, great athleticism. Really excited that we were able to add him into the program. Deion Hayes is a kid who had a really strong career at Pitt. Had some injury issues last year and didn't quite have the season that he wanted to have, and so was able to come back for one more season. And so we're excited that we were able to add him. Tyler Onyedem is a kid that's played an awful lot of football from Iowa State, and so we're excited that we were able to get him into the program. And then Sam Mpemba is a kid who we think has a lot of upside. Played a little bit at Georgia, but we think his best football is still in front of him. Great length, great athleticism, and so really good that we're able to bring those guys in. I think it added 4 upperclassmen into the D-line room that will help us, I think, kind of replace some of the things that walked out, that and obviously some elevation with the guys that we currently have. We wanted to add some depth into the secondary. We were able to go out and get Julio Humphreys, a kid that we've known from back in recruiting, a Houston kid, and so knew him from when I was here as the DC. And I think he's started an awful lot of games in the SEC. He's got great speed, great athleticism, and so excited to get him. Jordan Shaw was a kid from California that was at the University of Washington who started there as a redshirt freshman last year, played a lot of football. We think he's going to have a really bright future for us, and we're excited that we got him. And so we added 2 quality kids that can cover. We lost some upperclassmen in the tight end room. That was another big area that we wanted to be able to go out and address. And so that started with Nate Borkacher from Nebraska and Micah Riley-Ducker from Auburn, 2 kids that I think are a little bit bigger body profiles. I think maybe do a little bit more setting the edge, physical, point of attack blockers, also athleticism to run routes, but I think are more of those combo tight ends that maybe we felt like we needed and didn't quite have at times last year. And then late we were able to add Amari Nyblock, who we think has kind of unlimited potential as a pass catcher, had a really, really good year 2 years ago at Alabama with Coach Wiggins when Coach Wiggins was there as the wide receiver coach. Got caught on the depth chart a little bit last year at his previous school, and so bringing him over I thought was something that was really helpful. And then a wide receiver, we wanted to go out and we wanted to get a couple athletic difference makers, and I think we did that. KC Concepcion's a kid who I'm familiar with from when I was at Duke. He was at NC State, had an electric freshman year, had a really good sophomore year, was looking for a place to maybe get onto a bigger stage and was able to come here and do that. Mario Craver, if you ask any of our corners, they'll tell you he was the toughest cover that we had last year. He's got tremendous speed and quickness and twitch, and so excited that we were able to go out and get him. And then we were able to pick up Jonah Wilson late, a kid from the University of Houston who brings a little bit of a size element to us. And so if I read your list right, I think that's everybody. Oh, and then quarterback. I thought quarterback was a really tricky thing for us, obviously, because we felt like we needed to get an older guy in the room, and that's not always the easiest thing when you don't have a wide open quarterback position. And so bringing Jacob Zeno in from Alabama Birmingham, a kid who had spent some time at Baylor, I think he's going. I was joking with him the other day. I think he's going on his 11th year of college football. No, I think it's like 6 or 7, but just an experienced kid. He's got tremendous arm talent. Has played a lot of college football. Has been really successful, and so he's going to come in here and have an opportunity to battle with Marcel and see where this thing goes.
All right, go front right.
How'd I do? Did I get through them all?
Mike, how would you describe your increased involvement with the defense and just the dynamic between you, Jay Bateman, and now Lyle Hempel?
Yeah, I think it's just, I think the challenge we've had as a staff this year is making sure that we're really clear in how we present things to our kids, and not to say that we weren't last year, but I think you're always self-evaluating and trying to find ways to get better. I've known Jay for a long time. Jay's a great football coach. Jay and I work really well together. A lot of people maybe questioned that after the bowl game. The bowl game frustration was a lot more with me than it was with any individual coach. We just didn't play defense the way I wanted to, and I don't point fingers when that happens. I always kind of look internally, and so I wouldn't say that it's like involvement because now I'm going in and it's not thought like that. It's just making sure that we get this defense playing the way we wanted to. And I think the Lyle Hemphill edition was a little bit more of, a guy obviously who I've known for a long time, has had a tremendous career, really successful coordinator at JMU last year, has been a coordinator at the Division I level multiple times, safeties coach, but also like when you think about how the rules have changed and now guys that are not in those, 10 coaches, but can coach and can get on the grass, and none of those rules exist anymore. It was almost like, okay, the use for some of the lower GA spots, whereas you can go get an older, experienced guy with a lot of experience at this level coaching football. I think that was more what drove the Lyle Hemphill edition. And obviously he's a tremendous football coach and brings a lot of value to the room. And so I think it was maybe a combination of wanting to get another guy in the back end to help kind of fix the things that need to get fixed, with also maybe looking ahead at what the new world of coaching staffs should look like in our opinion, with the rules changing the way they did last summer.
With KC Concepcion in particular, we've seen him use a lot of different ways previously, some even as a running back.
Yeah.
Just what kind of potential do you think he has to be as a potential number one receiver, maybe best receiver one of the best receivers in the conference.
Yeah, I think he's lights out. I do. I think he's got tremendous quickness. I think he's got tremendous acceleration. He's got really good ball skills for a shorter guy, because he's not a small guy, but for a shorter guy, I think he plays really physical, and you see that in the ways they used him at NC State. We're really, really excited about what he's capable of doing.
Coach, back behind the lights on the right, Nicole.
Coach, with this being your second spring, and just what kind of opportunities are there for you? Do you feel more confident going into it compared to last year when everything was just, you're trying to get everything that you could get done?
Yeah, I think I don't know about more confident, but certainly the starting point is so much higher. You know, we've kind of gotten into meetings and walkthroughs a little bit already this week, and just where the kids are from an initial day one standpoint, it's almost hard to quantify how much further that is along from where it was last year at this time, when they really didn't know anything about anything. And so you just kind of take, okay, we're at a higher starting point now. We just got to still continue with the growth and the development every single day. But I think you're excited with the conversations you can have with them, because they're at a much higher level than they were this time last year, right? And that's just probably natural when you go from year one to year two.
Question here, third row on the right.
Hey, Coach. What do you want to kind of see out of Marcel in the spring and just his continued growth at the quarterback position?
Yeah, I think, just a better comfortability with the offense, in particular the throwing game. I think Marcel is really talented. I think he's got the ability to make every throw on the field. I think what he needs is that natural one-year development in terms of confidence in read progressions, knowing where the ball should go, getting it out on time, and getting it out accurately. And I think he's been hard at work for the last 5 months, if that's right, 4 months since the bowl game, of making sure that he's a master of this system and what he wants to do. And so, I think it'll be good to see him take the next step this spring.
Front right.
What kind of challenges or opportunities are there when you do kind of flip a whole position group like wide receiver from last year, bring in a lot of new guys and a lot of guys that you think will have significant time out there?
Yeah, I just think it's the nature of college football a little bit nowadays. You just got to get used to it, and it's not what you want. You'd love to have a bunch of established players that have been in the system and know what they've been through together. But if that's not how it's going to play out, you have this ability through the portal to go out and add guys who have been very productive. And so, you've got this combination of guys in the program, right? Guys like Terry Bussey, guys like Ashton Bethel-Roman, guys like Isaiah Williams, who you're fully anticipating taking the next step in their development and becoming bigger contributors this year. And then you're also able to not just rely on the incoming freshmen. You're able to go out and get, guys who have been leading receivers at their teams in Division I football, which I think gives you the balance that you need when you do get lopsided a little bit, like we were with the amount of guys that left last year.
Third row on the left.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned Terry Bussey.
I did. You guys didn't. I just like that on the record, how quickly everybody forgets things that now in year two, I have to mention them before you guys get to them.
As far as during the spring, is that someone that you want to just nail down at wide receiver, or is that someone that at the same time that you may be looking in the defensive backfield? Or
No, Terry's a wideout now, and I think what Terry needs, I think we never really talked fully about the Terry story last year. Terry came in a little bit banged up when we got him in the summer. He was never really quite got healthy through summer training and some of those things. Obviously started the year playing corner. Kind of midway through camp, we flipped him over to wide receiver, and that's not a great way for a freshman to go out and maximize what he's capable of. And so I just think you saw just, scratches of the surface really last year of what Terry's capable of. And so I think we're excited now that he's got the offensive playbook down in his brain. He kind of is now able to go out there and really redefine his craft. I think you're going to see him take a really, really good jump going into next year, and I don't know that it's necessarily fair to him right now to do a position, flip him all over the place. We've got to get him settled in at being a really good wide receiver, and then, let's revisit that this time next year if he truly does have the year I think he's capable of, and let's see what it looks like from there.
Front right.
Mike, with the offensive line being as experienced as they are and getting basically every key contributor back, just how much of a plus is that? And also, is Mark Nabou also good to go for the spring, and what's his recovery been like?
Yeah, Mark's good to go. It was a long recovery, but he was extremely diligent in it, which was awesome. He's been out there. He was out there. He was healthy through competitive agilities the last 4 weeks of the offseason, and so he's in a really good spot. I think, just it's funny how different years have different question marks, right? Last year at this time, that was the big concern, and now you look at it and you have the top 7 going into the season all back from a group that played pretty good football last year. You also have, I think, some young guys, Blake Ivy, Papa Afua, Ashton Funk, Robbie Bordone, who were redshirted last year, who we believe in and believe are very capable. And then you also bring in a really large freshman class that are all here. And so we're actually going into spring ball with 20 offensive linemen. Some obviously non-scholarship kids, but that's a really good starting point. And then they're going to be out there developing, getting better every day. And so if you want to be the team that we want to be and competing for what we want to compete for, that group matters an awful lot. And so experience, talent, depth, all of that stuff is really in a good spot right now.
On the flip side, with your defensive line having so many fresh faces, is this spring treated maybe differently as far as, hey, maybe the depth chart's not fully intact and this is kind of more of a evaluation period? I know it's...
Yeah, no, honestly, I think it's like that always, though, Carter. I think, and we talked a little bit about this last year, and I think people thought it was a little bit just because I was new, but, we want a program where people are always a little bit unsettled and a little bit uncomfortable and feel as though every day they go out there, they got to compete for opportunities and playing time. And so even amongst the offensive line where you say, oh, okay, everyone's back, you still got guys like who the starting 5 are, who's number 6, there's a lot of people that want to be in that conversation. And so I think it's the same thing across the board. And then obviously at a position like defensive line, for sure it is, because, you're certainly not going to make any decisions until you get them out on your field in your system playing the game and being able to evaluate them and watch them. But I think the reason why we were able to add some of the quality depth and veterans that we were able to add is because I think we're getting a little bit of a reputation for that competition and giving guys opportunities to go out there and earn things.
Time for a couple more. If not, Coach has got other meetings to go. We'll get the players in here shortly.
Good?
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.